Newport.
Portions of this show are recorded. Strap in and be prepared.
I'm just going to say go to lunch and tell the boss, I'm coming down with something. And then head out to the ballpark for happy hour.
Coming down with duck fever.
Or beaver fever.
Or beaver fever, whichever one.
Interesting guests.
Kelly Graves,
Mike Parker, Coach Mark Waskowski, Melissa Lombardi.
always happy to talk to the great Scopeldamus, Eric Scopel.
Sharp opinions.
This isn't last year. Version 8 is going to be different than version 7, which is different than version 6.
And some smiles.
Also, Dominic Hellman, 2 home runs this weekend.
Mayo.
Yeah, or Hellboy, either one.
The other one. We're going to see which one sticks. We're going to ask him.
Okay.
It's Danny Havel.
I had security on me, immediately. Give us your phone. You can't be filming it. What are you going to glean from filming people bowling right now?
Justin Grossweiner.
Okay, the 6 and 7-year-olds, I got them. I could beat them in a race.
Danny and Justin starts now on Fox Sports Eugene and Fox Sports Newport.
Hello, neighbors. Welcome. High atop the Delta Tri in the Crystal Palace. Fox Sports Eugene, Fox Sports Newport. Live from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios, a Monday edition of the fastest 60 minutes in sports. It's the Danny and Justin radio program. Thanks for lending us your ears for the next hour. Mondays are always a busy, busy, busy day, and it's no exception today. We'll have our results from Big Bets, and guess what? We had a couple of undefeated weeks in Big Bets. We'll let you know who those are, and there's going to be one happy guy out in Junction City today. Also, good, bad, and the ugly from the weekend. A huge weekend for Oregon women's softball. Oregon men's baseball gets another series win, so they're back on the pony. And we'll also talk a little Oregon State men's portal for the basketball team, as Justin Joyner is forming his squad, and he's been making some strides like crazy. We'll throw some Ducks in there as well. They lost one through the nets, but there's still plenty in the cupboard coming for Dana Altman. But first, we're also going to talk Blazers. But first, right over there is Blaze, producing and engineering the program today. I'm Doc, and over to my right, it's Justin Grossweiner. We call him Baby J. What up, boy?
Well, how was your weekend? I haven't even gotten to ask you that.
Saturday, went out to Fiddler's, played 9 holes with Les and Jeremy, hit the ball really well, bought a new club for the bag, a little 4-wood, which I really like. And then Sunday, hung out at home, watched a little television, and then went to the Journey concert last night. And I made a new best friend.
Oh, yeah?
Guy behind me wearing this Guns, I'll show you this picture, wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt, backwards hat, and everything else. And they were sitting right behind us, him and his significant, or I don't know if it was a wife or not. And we were having a good time. I think there were libations going on as well. And there was no opening act. Journey played for 2.5 hours. They came on, they played their entire set, some songs I'd never even heard before. But I told him, I said, I'm not getting up and dancing until they play Separate Ways, and it was the second encore. And so he and I've got video evidence of he and I dancing in the aisle together, arm in arm.
That's great. I'm really happy
for you. Had a great time. It was good, but I didn't get home till 10:30, and I had a 6:30 call for work this morning.
That was yesterday?
That was yesterday, yeah. And don't normally go out on what I call the work night. Sunday night, it's, you know me, man, it's 9 o'clock. I'm in bed.
You're done.
And normally nobody can get a hold of me. So if you call me after 9 o'clock, you better be injured, in jail, or something serious going on. So what'd you do this week? You went and saw Mom?
I went and saw Mom. I went and hung out with a friend on Saturday, and then I went out for a nice run on Sunday, and that was after I watched a couple of baseball games. It was a lot of morning games on Sunday, so I watched a lot of the morning games, and then watched 28 years later, the second one, Bone Temple.
Yeah.
So good.
Ray Fiennes
really
is in that
good.
one again?
Yep, he's great in that, and There's some cameos that are really good. You definitely need to, I know you're saying you were thinking about watching it with your family.
I got to watch it with them.
I'm enthused now about that series, so go ahead and watch that. It's really, really good. We also watched The Boys. We caught up on The Boys, so that was really good. Enjoyed that. But overall, just a nice sportsy, also a lot of television-y sort of weekend.
All right, Blaze, you're up. It was, by the way, we didn't get to say it while you were here. We're going to say it now. Congratulations, you made it through another year. Happy birthday. Your birthday was last Thursday.
Yeah.
So let's get caught up from that first. Let's start from there and then roll through the weekend unless you can't remember some of it.
No, I can remember all of it, sadly. So I was hazed with some beverages. With my friends though. So it's to an extent willingfulness in there. But then the next day it was sunny, so we all relaxed. We tossed the pigskin. Worked on my soccer juggling.
Oh,
which I'm terrible at, and I'm not good with my feet in any way.
No.
So it was kind of just something we did. My friends are great at it, and
feet are the most important things in sports, Blaze. No matter what sport you're playing.
You're completely right, and you think I would be good on my feet because I consider myself fairly athletic, but in this situation, no, I am terrible on my feet. And then Sunday, grinded out some homework.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So you've got right back
9 hours.
Oh wow! You left everything for Sunday. That's all.
Yeah.
That's a me thing.
That was
right.
definitely you in college?
I want to enjoy the weekend.
I would even push it to Monday morning, even at times.
Okay,
that wasn't an option.
Yeah, I understand that too.
Well, good. And again, congratulations on making it through your birthday celebration in one piece. We were thinking about you. So the weekend kind of flew past. There was a lot going on. We went down to forgot all this as well. We went down to the Jane and watched the Saturday win over Washington, which was fantastic. We'll talk a lot about
You
softball.
texted me right afterwards. You said, big win.
It was huge. It was massive. The whole weekend was for Oregon women's softball.
That was a gutty
swept
one, too.
Washington. Man, I'll tell you, they won by defense. They won, by pitching. They had all the elements of their games going again, and they were all in sync.
The defense this weekend was
stellar.
Something special. Something special. It's really hard to compare them to last year's team because last year's team was so good defensively as well. But, I mean, this team's just unbelievable.
Yeah. So went that, and then we had some friends over Saturday night as well for pizza and some beverages on the patio at night. So I had a couple of late nights.
Weekend.
And it was a full weekend. I was thinking about it. I didn't really sit in front of the television. Although we turned on this Naked and Afraid show. Have you guys seen this?
I've never seen it. I know of it, and I don't. It's not in Alaska, is it?
I don't remember. We had the sound down, and what is wrong with our society that we're putting this on television? I'm serious.
Well, it's just people are really interested in watching that stuff.
For God, get a life, people. Get a life. And
people want to know what that's like.
And I've got a friend of mine who's texting right now. Yes, who listens to this show? Yes, Joe, I would come pick you up in the middle of the night if you meet one of those requirements. So, a little message to my buddy. Speaking of a good weekend, Goose rose like a phoenix. Went 1-4 in big bets in the opening week of this session. He comes back with a 5-0 week. And matching him was his good buddy and sidekick, Chris, from Junction City. However, Goose went 192. Chris went 213 on the tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker total was 208.
And this was for Lakers-Houston?
Lakers-Houston. So, Chris, you've got yourself a 2-night stay.
There you go.
And you're entered into the big drawing at the end, $100 on your player's card. So you can keep playing, but now you're not going to be eligible to win the 2-night stay for the rest of this session
because you
got it in your pocket. So we try and spread the wealth, so let somebody else win it. You went 2-3.
Classic. Just call it the Justin at this point.
You picked Charlotte, Golden State, New York, Denver. Those are the two
Charlotte
you got
really
right.
let me down.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about that in the good, bad, and ugly.
Okay, and then I went 3-2. Nothing stellar, but now I'm even at 5-5. You're 4-6. Goose from worst to first. He's 6-4 now in the overall. So we'll do it again on Friday. And then this weekend as well, obviously the Blazers. We'll talk about them in a moment. We'll have Rip City recap in a second as well. John Warren is going to join us. We'll talk Oregon State basketball. they've been making some moves in the portal. Players shipped out after Wayne Tinkle was told he's not coming back. And then, man, Justin Joyner, who was an assistant on the national champ Michigan team, man, he is filling up the cupboard fast with some quality players. So we'll get John Warren's take on this. We'll give you a rundown of everyone.
And the fact that it's not even just guys that you can sit there and go, well, I think you can see the potential there. Like, these are guys that are coming out of the portal, 4 stars.
These are dogs.
Like, these are legitimate players.
Yeah, these are dogs. So let's do good, bad, and the ugly. Let's start there because this one's going to be easy. But I've got a tie for my good. Obviously, I'm starting out with Oregon women's softball and the 3-game sweep over Washington that puts the Ducks in prime position, just a game behind Nebraska for the top seed to defend their Big Ten championship. The Ducks are now 16-2 in conference play. They moved to 35-9 overall. Nebraska 17-1. 36-6. UCLA is also at 16-2. So, man, you want to talk about that series in a couple of weekends? That is going to be another big, big series for the ladies. But I also want to give half of the good to Oregon junior Simeon Birnbaum, who shatters the 1,500-meter collegiate record on day 2 of the Oregon Team Invitational at Hayward Field on Saturday. The Ducks combined for 12 wins, 7 top 10 program marks Saturday, including the school record by Emily Fitzsimmons in the pole vault. Birnbaum stopped the clock at 3:31.69 to become the new record holder, taking more than a second. That is so hard to do. A second off the previous mark set by Villanova's Liam Murphy back last year. So that's my good from the weekend.
My good is something that wasn't so good for the Blazers, but it's something that I just got to give a tip of the cap to, and it is Victor Wembanyama for the performance that he had yesterday against the Blazers. They're never going to win a game if he performs like he did yesterday. 5 out of 6 for 3, just straight throwing it over people, basically. Duncan behind the rim. This guy is unbelievable, and 35 points, I believe that was an NBA record for playoff debut. This guy is unreal. I mean, there's guys that we watch in different sports. Shohei Ohtani is one of these guys where we just need to appreciate what we're watching, because these players and these athletes are generationally special and unique, and we've never seen anything like it. So you got to give a tip of the cap to Victor Wembanyama for what he did.
All right, go straight into your bad, the good, bad, and the ugly on the Danny and Justin radio program, live for the Bigfoot Beverages Studios. John Warren from Albany, Corvallis, and formerly of Joe Radio is going to join us to talk Oregon State men's basketball in a moment.
Okay, so this one, you know that it's really bad this week because my bad really could be an ugly, because it was the comments from Carlos Mendoza, the manager of the Mets, after, I think it was Sunday's game against the Cubs, when Nico Horner had a walk-off sac fly, runner on third, 1 out. They decided to pitch to Nico Horner, who is one of the best contact guys in the league, having a fantastic start to the season, was just named Player of the Week, by the way. And it wasn't just the fact that they pitched to him and that he got a sac fly to win the game, but it is the fact that Carlos Mendoza doubled down on his strategy, saying after the game, and this makes no sense, by the way, in that spot, especially with Nico Horner, if you put him on first, they're likely taking second. You know it's a contact situation, but then you've got some of their best hitters coming up. His run was meaningless. Why does that matter if he takes second base? Nobody cares. It doesn't make any sense to me. So it's the fact that the Mets, they've lost 11 in a row now. It's just a total disaster. And you've got a guy that loses a game in just a situation that should never happen. That guy isn't going to make it to June.
I had the Mets as my bad.
Oh, well, there you go.
I just said Mets 11 straight losses. They're in disarray. They've spent they poured money into this team over the last couple of years, and they literally have a bunch of all-stars on a yacht that has no rudder. So they are adrift at sea right now.
It's a
and
mess.
You know what? It couldn't happen. Here is the cautionary tale of just pouring money into players without having chemistry go along with it.
And that's why whenever I criticize what the Dodgers are doing, I also give them credit, because it's not just the fact that they're just throwing a bunch of money into their team and they do that.
They're maintaining their team chemistry, though.
Yes, exactly. It's all the little things that the Mets don't do, but the Mets just throw a bunch of money at people.
All right, so here's my ugly that I hope does not get uglier. It's new Blazers majority owner Tom Dundon.
Yeah.
Who is now getting a very quick reputation in the NBA of doing the same things he was doing and has done in Carolina, which is he's cheap. So now the nicknames are sticking: Scrooge McDundon, El Cheapo
that's the best
from
one.
Bill Simmons.
I was about to say.
The only team to not have their two-way players attend the first games of the playoffs. They pulled all the T-shirts that they normally give out to fans when they have their first home playoff game, and they quickly went back and said, well, we're doing something different because the word got out. Somebody leaked it. There has been talk of slashing staff on road trips, having them sitting down in hotel lobbies because he doesn't want to pay a late fee for a room, scrutinizing the food that's on the plane and how much it costs. I mean, he's going to start feeding these guys bologna sandwiches with chips and a warm Fresca.
That's not what championship organizations do.
So this, I hope, is not a foreboding of what we're going to see out of Tom Dunning, because this will not win you a championship.
Yeah, I have concerns. So I'm gonna my ugly isn't even as bad as that, because that's the ugliest thing that came out of the weekend for sure. But the Hornets were pretty ugly as well.
Yeah,
I was really confident in them coming into that last game of the play-in tournament. I believe my words were, "Have you watched basketball recently?"
Well, I think also when you said, "I'm picking the team that's going to win,"
I know I could not have eaten my words more as they lose by 31 points, which I believe was a playoff record or a play-in record.
Wow, talk about laying a dud.
The Magic now are up 1-0 on Detroit, so they look like they're a legitimate team that could upset an 8-1, which we only have seen a few times. A few years ago, we saw Miami upset the Bucks, but Orlando went from that team that looked like they were about to blow it up to all of a sudden they might get a first-round upset. In that wake, the Hornets were left by a 30-point loss, so that was pretty ugly.
All right, that's our good, bad, and the ugly from the weekend. As we look around the horn, and it's pretty easy to find the bad that's out there and the ugly. I always like finding the good.
I think there's a lot of good, though. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I wish we had more good spots, because bad and ugly are bad and ugly, but it's like you can only choose one good thing.
We can do Good News Friday if you want.
Sure.
We can start doing that on Fridays as we head into the weekend. Happy and joy. So the Blazers, not unexpectedly, go down to the Spurs in their first game of the postseason. You know, Blazers are playing with house money. They're glad to be there, but they're just not happy to be there and are going to play like that. But they have run into a buzzsaw now, and San Antonio is one of those teams that could push Oklahoma City for the title, especially for the Western Conference crown. Let's hear first from our voice of the Blazers, Travis Demers. Here's his Rip City recap.
From name distance, it's time for your Rip City recap.
Kenny between the rings, 8 seconds to shoot. Has it on the wing in front of Keldon Johnson. Crosses over, brings it back, puts up a three-pointer. That's good. His second three of the quarter. He's got 12 points. It's a 5-point game. Gives it to Holiday. Open three. No, he lobs it to Williams, who puts it in. That is a terrific job by Drew Holiday. Flies it to Thibault. Thibault dribbles right, scoops it to Abdia. Penetrates, steps through, bump, puts it up. It's good, and the foul. Wembanyama knocked away and stolen by Scoot. In the front court, drives past Castle, lays it in. The steal and the two for Scoot. It's a 2-point game. 59-57, and 8-0 Trailblazers run. Loose ball on the floor is controlled by San Antonio. They really have gotten after those 50-50 balls. Vassell 3, good again. Spurs by 11. 13-2 San Antonio run. They lead at 72-61. Avdia pumps, turns, brings it back around, fades, and hits it. A 30-piece for Denny Avdia in his playoff debut.
111-98, San Antonio over Portland, game one of the Western Conference playoff series. You mentioned Wemby with his 35 points. That is also, and what's crazy about this, all the great teams that Greg Popovich had at San Antonio, like with Tim Duncan and the Admiral and such, that was also a record for the Spurs. Tim Duncan held it previously with 32 points.
Was it the Spurs team record?
It was a Spurs team record.
That's what I was trying to say earlier.
That was in his debut, but it's the highest scoring output in franchise history for a Spur.
Well, you would think that maybe this guy would be a little nervous coming into this game, first playoff game. Nope, he came out there, looked aggressive. He was taking threes. He had that killer instinct in the shots that he was taking as well. That's what's so scary about him to me. It's not just the fact that he's 7'5". We've never seen anybody like this. But if you listen to this guy talk, this guy is a killer. This guy absolutely wants to be the best. He doesn't want to be your friend. He's going to come in there, and he's going to absolutely bully you. And so that's what he did in this game.
Well, he did it facing 8 different defenders over the course of 33 minutes. And then he also did it on the other end of the floor. He held Portland scoreless on the 11 attempts when he was the contesting defender, which is exactly what was advertised. And that the Blazers were going to have to account for is that he's the paper, Denny's the rock, but, you know, paper covers rock. And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Not just with Denny.
Wemby changes the geometry because he makes it so that you can't just drive in on him as well, right? And there's a space that's further out that you can't get to. The Blazers also don't hit enough threes where they can space out the floor more on the outside where there's more space in between the three-point line and the paint. That's kind of the issue I see them having right now is because they're just collapsing and the Spurs are letting the Blazers take 38 three-pointers. They don't want to take that many three-pointers. They made 10 of them last night. They will never win a game like that, and they will also never win a game if Victor's playing like that last night. Like, there's nothing they can do. It's really all on Victor's shoulders if he wants to win that series like this because he's been unbelievable, and he was in that game as well. But I think the Blazers played pretty well, to be honest with you. I'm actually pretty encouraged by the performance.
Denny Avdia has 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, but it can't just be him.
No.
And they're going to throw more and more at Wemby to see what happens in Game 2, which is Tuesday night. All right, when we come back, it's the judge, John Warren, who covers Oregon State athletics. We'll have him talk about the new team that Justin Joyner is putting on the hardwood for the Beavs next on the Danny and Justin radio program. We'll recap the weekend on the Diamonds as Oregon softball has a magical weekend at the Jane. Oregon baseball got another series win. They got back on the horse in Champaign, Illinois. That'll be discussed all in the last segment here on the Danny and Justin radio program. Thanks for tuning in here for a Monday. Let's head on over to the Oregon Man Clinic's hotline and welcome in a familiar voice to us. And if you lived up in the Corvallis and Albany area for over 20 years, he was the morning voice on Clue AM. It's the judge, John Warren, joining us. And now has his own deal going on with MidValleyRadio.com. You can listen to him online. Judge?
Excellent to be with you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
It's a very loose interpretation of that word, but we'll take it. So, Justin Joyner, and I'll just say, I thought it was a good hire. Obviously, being on the staff at Michigan, they just won a national championship, good young coach. He already had ties to Oregon with his wife, who is a coach at the University of Oregon, although he goes up the road to Corvallis. Man, he's putting together quite a team. And I just have to ask you, am I reading this right, that there's like 5 players coming from Eastside Catholic?
I believe so. I don't have them in front of me. I'm scrambling in the last couple of minutes to try to find.
I can tell you who they are. I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, Deshaun Gorey, who's 6. These are the ones that have transferred.
Yeah.
Deshaun Gorey, who's a shooting forward. He's 6'6", 170. Dennis Evans,
Right.
7'1", 240. He's a center. Xavier Staten, or Staten, 6'11".
Staten. I think it's Staten, yeah.
Okay. 6'11", 207. So you got 7'1",
Yep.
6'11". And then Jackson Rasmussen, who's 6'7", 200 pounds. And then Yabi Aklug, who just committed, ranked number 53 overall, number 90 composite by 247.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6'10", 230. And, man alive.
It's a lot of height.
Yeah, a lot of height, in fact, and they just got another guy, Freytag, from Buffalo on Saturday. And I don't know what the stuff on him is. I haven't had a chance to read it. And it's not official yet. At least it's not on their website, the Beaver website. But it's going to happen. 20 points a game, I think 5 assists, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists a game. I mean, that and he's a guard. Not to mention they recruited this kid. You might have mentioned him, Rasmussen. They recruited this kid out of high school in Washington who's a 4-star recruit. And several of those guys that you mentioned are 4-stars from previous years, from just 1 or 2 classes ago.
So how do you think a guy, I mean, he seems like Freytag is a point guard from what I'm understanding. How do you think a guy like that would work next to Josiah Lake? Because obviously he's kind of the engine, the guy that makes things go. Like, do you think that he could work off ball? Like, do you think he needs somebody that is like a ball handler, or this guy could be a guy that maybe have him kind of as not a bench guy, but kind of rotate the minutes,
No, the Beavers have been looking for a true point guard for years, even with Josiah Lake. I mean, they really have been looking for a guy to come in and be the point. They've had plenty of guys who have come in who have been great off guards, but not a true point guard. And I think it's interchangeable. If they can get a true point guard, Josiah can easily play the two and have no trouble with that at all. If they can find a guy who can be a true point guard, I mean, really be the quarterback of the offense and run the plays and take control, that's something they've wanted for a long time.
Well, I'm just trying to discern what kind of style we're going to see. I don't know how.
I'll tell you what style.
Okay, go ahead. That's why we got you here, buddy.
And I will tell you, as an old man shaking my fist at the clouds, I don't like it because it's modern day basketball. Now, Justin, what are you, about 12? You probably love it.
I'm 31. Our intern Blaze is 22, though.
Okay. You're 31. You're 12. Okay. So,
thanks, Judge.
So this idea of running and gunning and launching threes, I hate it. And when Justin, and again, I'm not saying this in a negative light, it may work, but when he, at his press conference, he said, we're going to shoot threes. We're going to shoot threes, and we're going to shoot rim twos. And he didn't explain that, but I take that to mean he kind of did later on as, close-up twos and dunks if you can and go low post, but also kick out for threes and just shoot up threes. He was openly negative on mid-range twos. And he said, we don't want mid-range twos unless that is the calling card of a particular player that we really want. And then we will actually support that and have them be a guy who can shoot from the elbow or anything inside the line. And I don't like that. I don't mind running gun basketball. I don't mind all that, but I like backdoor cuts, running plays. I like trying to get closer to the basket. But this new generation loves analytics, and analytics say one thing: three's better than two. And I've gotten into so many arguments with guys that work in analytics, and fun, playful arguments, of course, about threes being better than two. And okay, I guess if the math says three's better than two, then go ahead and launch 50 threes and make 19 of them, and
that'd be pretty good.
We'll just have fun watching that.
Well, I think with the upcoming Pac-12 and the teams that are going to be in there and competing, it's going to be a powerful conference right off the jump in basketball. I think that's going to be a given.
And I would venture to guess, and I read two different articles on this, that this group could very well be, putting things together along with Josiah Lake, could very well be a top four team in that conference, in the new conference, which is going to have great basketball schools: Utah State, San Diego State. And then the potential for Washington State to be good someday. I don't know about,
immediately. Well, it just the lightning fast way he got his staff together, and we're talking about Justin Joyner, and then out on the recruiting trail, because he was at a bit of a disadvantage unless he had his other guys working it beforehand, because he was kind of busy at the Final Four all the way up through, and I don't think we're going to see the end of it yet. I think there's a couple of more exoduses that are going to happen, especially off that Michigan team, and there might be a good relationship that Coach Joyner has with one of those players that he's been with the last couple of years, and bring him out to Corvallis. So I don't think it's done.
There was a kid who grew up in. This is really weird, and I don't have his name in front of me, but he grew up in Lake Oswego, where I grew up, but went to Tualatin. Or no, I take that back. He grew up in Tualatin, where my brother currently lives, and went to Lake Oswego for, I think, his freshman and sophomore years before going to an academy in California, and where one of the Michigan players was recruited. And I think he was recruited too. So he's at Michigan, right? Huge numbers while in high school. Led Lake Oswego with like 22 points a game his freshman year. That's crazy. And they weren't very good that particular year. I think they did make the playoffs though, before he transferred to a different high school. Well, this kid, and he's got an interesting name. What is it? I wish you could look it up. Anyway, he's already declared to the transfer portal. And I thought, maybe through relationship, Justin can bring him to Oregon State, and he'd be coming home, basically.
And just getting back to the three-point conversation, because I do think it's fascinating. So my age group, I'm 31, as I said earlier, we watched the revolution. We saw Steph Curry kind of go ballistic, and all of a sudden everybody's shooting threes. I went to play a pickup basketball game a few months ago. It is shocking to me how younger kids play nowadays. They literally only shoot threes. There isn't this sort of sense of, passing the ball. There's no true point guards anymore. So I think that in terms of the style that Justin Joyner wants, I think it's interesting because it's going to be, his style, but isn't it in a lot of ways just more about how the players these days are playing as much as anything?
That's a great question. Let me ask you a question before I answer that.
Okay.
Do you when you play pickup games, which I used to do well into my 30s, do you notice the older guys playing differently than the younger guys?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Did they get irritated, like, quit launching threes? Do you hear that at all during games?
A little bit. I think that there is a sense of, you kind of know what you're getting into at this point. I think that with enough experience with these younger guys, you kind of know. But absolutely, I definitely think that there's more of a, I literally have seen people just turn down open players to shoot threes in people's faces. It's awful.
Honestly, I'm not holding back anymore because I'm not on the radio. I'm on midvalleyradio.com. It's a clown show. It's an absolute clown show. It's look at me, get past the three and launch these low percentage shots when you could pass the ball inside and do. Danny, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just letting you go, man. I'm just letting you go, Judge. I'm absolutely just letting.
An absolute beauty, in pick and rolls and backdoor cuts and basketball. You can paint a beautiful portrait, and then it gets ruined with just this
chuck threes,
chucking up threes, and then, James Harden, Houston Rockets, about 10, 15 years ago. We used to mock it on the Joe Beaver show. Look at this. The guy shot like 43s and made 11 of them. Yeah, I mean, it's bad.
Well,
it's just bad.
I think there's a bit of nostalgia as well, especially with Oregon State fans going back to the Ralph Miller days where it was pick and roll, it was get to the back door, it was get to the glass, and there was a lot of success. And teams that were
also. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Also, but though that's not just. So we're looking at Justin at 31, me at 60. I don't know what you are, Danny, but you're closer to me. Okay, that's not for a guy like Justin to hear what you're saying, Danny.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like those were the days of. Literally cagers. We used to call basketball cagers in the 1910s and 20s because they put cyclone fencing around the basketball things because it got too rough. It's not like that. All basketball for decades, from the beginning up until Steph Curry, all basketball was backdoor cuts, good defense, picks and rolls, low post back to the basket centers. All basketball was
right. And you would take your
wide open games, and you had run and gun, and you had all kinds of variations. But it was always try to get your highest percentage shot. Would you not agree, Danny?
I would absolutely agree. And with I think the advent of this started. You can go to Paul Westhead and the way he started innovating basketball with that, because you go back even more recently. With Tex Winter and the triangle, and how Phil Jackson turned that in with pros into multiple world championships. So the basics in that, I think, are getting lost sometimes when you just say, we're going to run down the floor and just volume is going to win us games. So I think that's I don't know if that's a recipe for success. We'll see. Let them prove us wrong, is what I'd say.
Well, and I don't know why anybody would want to sit and watch that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see in the ticket prices how they aggressively.
No, the kids love it. The kids love it. Oh, look at that! He's shooting three. And look at how far, almost across the midcourt line. It's a clown show.
I want to sit next to you at a Beaver game, Judge. I really do.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's flip it over to baseball.
So, how are you feeling about this team right now, Judge? Nice
Pretty
series
good.
over Cal State.
Yeah, it was a good series. It's hard to believe they're a 500 team and a 114 RPI because they were tough on Friday and Saturday. Now, keep this in mind. I heard this from Dwight James on today. or somebody. Maybe it was Mike. Or no, it was a caller, actually, a caller into the show. I'm not a part of that show anymore, but I was listening while I was working. I think the kids' minds were not quite together on Friday night and half of Saturday because of, the Tyler situation and, their teammate going down the way he did. So I think they were a little bit out of it. And then it kind of woke up with the home run, the grand slam. They're down 1-0 in the 8th inning on Saturday, and they had lost the night before.
Yep.
So the Beavers are one of 3 teams now in the entire country. UCLA is the other one. I can't remember the third, who have not lost a series yet this year. And they were very close to losing again, Tyler Bellerose. And A.J. Singer comes up with a grand slam. They tack 2 more runs on and win it 6-1, and then they won easily yesterday. So I think that they kind of snapped out of it a little bit. No blame. They should have been where they were because it was, they're a tight team that love each other, and he got hurt badly. We still don't know any details at all other than some kind of an accident with a vehicle. And, the rumors in the internet and all the people who say, I know, said that he fell out of the back of a pickup truck. That's probably true, but I don't know for sure. And we keep asking, and we keep getting just that we're not talking about it right now, and the family doesn't want to talk about it. So that's all I know. There's even no behind the scenes, a guy knows a guy told me, trust me, I get that stuff, and I haven't gotten any on this one. But anyway, no, I think they woke up and looked really good yesterday. I've watched them yesterday for sure.
10-2 win to clinch that series. Oregon State improves to 30-8 overall on the season. It's crazy. 17 straight years now, the Bees have posted at least a 30-win season. So Mitch Canham's
it's really impressive.
Yeah, it really is, and especially the last couple of years cobbling together an independent schedule. It's a credit to Mitch Canham and what he can do with his group. And speaking of that, we talked a lot before the season started about pitching, and I want to go back to that because it seems like if there's been one, well, maybe 2 inconsistencies, the defense hasn't let them down too much, but. And it's kind of the same thing with the Ducks. It's some slight inconsistencies with matching up the pitching and the hitting, meaning pitching will be on one day and then the offense will be gone. It'll be in a vacuum, and then the vice versa is happening. Are you seeing the same things with Oregon State?
Yeah, precisely. Absolutely. That's really good. I didn't know that because I don't follow Oregon other than, reporting the scores and reading a few things. I'll be there on Wednesday night when they play each other. But, no, you hit it on the head. When hitting's really good, pitching's been it's not that bad. Oregon State pitching has been consistent. Dax has had a rough outing 2 Fridays ago, and then this last Friday, not great, but better than the week before. And for him to have anything less than stellar is a bit of a surprise. Mm-hmm. And I know, we always put too much on guys and everything. So I don't think it's that any time to panic or any time to worry at all. He actually started slow on Friday night, and then in the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning really picked it up and showed the old Dax Whitney and mowed him down. And then Wyatt Queen came in and did the same thing, but it was just like, okay. But by that time, it was time, he was reaching the high pitch count, and it was time to go for the night. And so I don't think it's that bad. So it's not too misbalanced where pitching is on, hitting is off, and vice versa. Pitching's been a little bit more consistent than that, but hitting has been on and off, or I should say offense has been on and off at times, as it will for any regular team. And it showed this weekend. And then they turned it back on again Saturday and Sunday. But pitching, no. Right now you've got Kleinschmidt and Singer. I think, or not Singer. Who am I thinking
Segura.
of?
Eric Segura.
Segura. Gosh, I just drew a blank.
No problem.
Segura right now is the hottest pitcher on the staff. Now, that's not to say that Whitney won't come around like he did in the late innings on Friday and be sensational this Friday. But right now, Eric Segura is putting up the best numbers for the pitchers these last couple of weeks, let's say.
And you mentioned the fact that the Beavers haven't lost a series, that they're one of 3 teams. I also saw that somewhere. I can't remember who that third team was, but I know that's a fact. What do you think's led to that? Because ultimately, if you're going to be in the regional, like that's what it's all about. You just don't want to lose a series. So what do you think? Has it been the fact that they have so many arms in that starting pitching, along with a couple of really great starters, 3 really good starters?
Yeah, I think so. Plus, they're not playing a juggernaut schedule. They're playing mostly big West team.
Right.
And that's not to disparage at all the schedule. It's hard to do when you're an independent, and they're in their second year of doing it. And how do you get all these teams to come out to your place when they're in the midst of their conference schedule? And I think they're giving up bye weeks to come out to Oregon State at this point in the year. Maybe not in the early part of the year, but at this point in the year, everyone's in the conference schedule. So to get anybody to come out here is hard. To say, hey, give up your bye week and come out here and lose to a top 10 team. And he's done it. He's managed to get those teams to agree to it, and they've done it. And they've been pretty good. I got to tell you, that Mercer team from the Southern Conference, the Beavers won that series, but man, and swept them. But they were tough. And Cal State Fullerton, 18-18 team now, and the Beavers won the series, but they were tough. Micaiah Negretti on Friday night pitched a complete game gem and beat the Beavers 2-1. So, I forgot what your original question was, but they're not playing an old Pac-12 conference schedule, let's just say, but they're not playing easy ones either. They're getting the job done when they need to and picking up some pretty good wins. I'm pretty confident in this team. Certainly to be a regional team, host a regional national seed, that's going to remain to be seen.
5:35 first pitch at Goff Stadium as Oregon State will entertain the Ducks. And we're going to close with this because we debated this before we let you go. John Warren from Albany, Corvallis. It's midvalleyradio.com, a longtime host and have covered the Beavers for 3 decades now. Is that game that got postponed up in Hillsboro? I don't see how they're going to get that made up this season. Do you?
They are. I asked Mitch about that yesterday when we were in the media pool.
When?
I don't know. He said he hadn't had a lot of time to think about it. Obviously, with the Belarus situation and then the weekend of baseball, he said that today is an off day for the players anyway, and so he would have more time to think about it. But that has to jibe with Oregon's schedule too. And I did ask specifically if it would be in Hillsboro again because you had almost 6,000
tickets sold
for that game. He said, I guess that's where it would be. He wasn't set on that, but he didn't. I could tell he didn't feel like saying anything else than that. So yes, he's going to continue to look into it.
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know what the Oregon side is saying. I know they both want it. Because you want...
That's a high RPI game.
Good?
Yeah.
Is quad 4 good or is quad 1 good? I get them mixed up.
Quad 1 is good.
Quad 1's good.
Quad 4 is bad.
Okay, so they want the quad 1 opportunity.
Yeah. I just don't see how scheduling wise, especially if you start taking a look at Oregon's schedule, they don't have room. It seems like, and you have to sync it up with the Hop schedule as well, because both teams are going to have to travel. I mean, it'd be easier for one team or the other if it was a home game, and I heard that because of a coin flip or whatever, Oregon is actually designated as the home team in this game. So, but both schools have to agree to it. I want to see them play it. I just don't know how scheduling-wise they're going to be able to. They're running out of weeks in the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I hope they get it in, but they might not.
All right, bud. Hey, well. Love having you on the program as always, Mayor. I almost call him Mayor. Judge.
Just remember this. Okay, both of you.
Yeah.
So just use this for the rest of the time.
Okay.
Clown show.
We're going to make that a drop. We have to make that a drop. All right, Judge. Have a great time right off into that sunset. Relax.
Thanks, guys.
There he goes, the great Judge John Warren. Now, what did I say? We were going to do 20 minutes with John Warren. So you're right. We didn't do 20 minutes. We did 25 minutes with John. All right. We're going to just recap real quick. Oregon, Washington, the Diamonds were flying at Jane Sanders Stadium in a memorable weekend. So we'll talk about that. Talk about Duck baseball. We might move baseball to tomorrow. Don't know. when we come back on the Danny and Justin radio program. If you missed any of our conversation with Judge John Warren talking Oregon State men's basketball and baseball, you can go back to the podcast after this program. Danny and Justin, whatever platform you're on, we are there for you. Live from the Bigfoot Beverages studios here for a Monday. Blaze on the controls. I'm Doc. That's Baby J. And you are you. Glad that you're tuned in. So, big weekend for Oregon athletics on the diamond at Jane Sanders. They were celebrating 60 years of softball, 10 years at the Jane. I was there on Saturday where they basically brought out, I think there was probably like 40 or 50 players from teams past before the game and introduced everybody. It was a sellout all weekend long. It was rocking there. It was a great atmosphere. And the Ducks swept the Huskies on Sunday. 3-1 was the final. 35-9 now, 16-2 in the Big Ten. Elon Butler homered in the third and fifth innings. She also was stellar in the field. Lindsey Grine picked up her 23rd win. Elise Sokolsky was outstanding fielding her position.
Yeah.
When she came in.
That
and
play
she
was incredible.
shut the door a couple of times. Saturday and Sunday, she shut the door on the Huskies.
Yeah, she's the X factor, right? She came in game 2, had 4.2 innings, only 2 earned runs. Was that the game she had that play? Mm-hmm. And then in game 3, she also came out there and got the save as well. 2 innings, only 1 earned run. And for Elon Butler, I think we're running out of adjectives. And so I think we should just start calling it getting Elon Butlered.
I think that's fine. I'm down with that. So for the first time since 2018, Oregon sweeps Washington in softball. Butler now has 51 career home runs. The multi-home gamer, 5 now. She's got 5 in her career. Now has 33 extra base hits. She broke the single season record set last season by Kedri Lushar.
There's still a lot of season left.
And there's still a ton. There's 3 more series left.
I know. And this was a big one for the Ducks in terms of the Big Ten standings because Washington fell from number 1 to number 4, which is where Oregon was. And now Oregon moved up to number 2, so they're 16-2 in conference, 1 game behind Nebraska,
who they are not going to play, who are not until the tournament. If
UCLA is still on the docket. They go play at UCLA, I believe, this year.
Yep, last series of the season.
And they are tied with UCLA for second right now, both at 16-2. So that's going to be a big series.
So Oregon State is next for the Ducks. They're up in Corvallis Wednesday. It'll be 6 p.m. on Big Ten Plus. And then back home this weekend at the Jane, last home series in the regular season as they host Ohio State. And then it's off to UCLA for the final weekend of the season.
Oh, a joke!
I got fired from the bank today. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Dad jokes!
What do you call a rude cow? You call a rude cow.
I don't know. It's something moo something. No?
Beef jerky.
That's actually pretty good. It's no breakfast and Breck Furious.
So here's the thing. I've decided that I could throw out one of the better ones on Monday, and then we can just make fun of all the rest of them because they're all going to be downhill from there. I could probably use the reverse strategy and no one that's going to be just a stinker right from the beginning and then have nothing but up. I'm playing with it still.
It's an art form. It's more of an art than a science.
So tomorrow on the program, we've got
Ryan Clark. We may get Travis, depending on his schedule, before Game 2 of the series against the Spurs. But we'll see. So maybe Travis, but we're definitely getting Ryan Clark from the Oregonian.
So, and we definitely want to talk Oregon men's baseball. You know, we didn't want to give short shrift them today, but we just ran out of time. So, but a great weekend series last weekend against Illinois. They're right in the thick of it as well in the top 4 seeds for Big Ten baseball. So Ryan Clark, hopefully Travis Demers, the mayor, tomorrow on the radio program. For Blaze, for Baby J, I'm Doc. Thanks for tuning in. Put a smile on your face, someone else's. They deserve it. So do you. God bless. Peace.